This is BS with Joe. News, culture, and crazy. One blunt conversation at a time. They say history is a set of lies we all agree on. I've known that since I was a kid, sitting in a classroom driving my teachers crazy because I wouldn't just take the book's word for it. To the victor go the spoils, they'd say. But they never told us that the spoils include the story itself. In 1929, it wasn't just a crash, it was a turning point. When fortunes were erased, power shifted, and a new version of history was written by the people who walked away richer than ever. Tonight, we're not just revisiting the Great Depression. We're peeling back the myth, the lie we all agreed on, to see what really happened when the bottom fell out. Everyone and their grandmother was in the market, and not just buying stocks, buying them on credit. This was installment America. Cars on time, radios on time, so why not stocks on time too? Margin meant you could put a little down and owe the rest. When prices dipped, the bill arrived instantly.
Here's the simple math. Buy 100 shares with $10 down and $90 on loan, and then 10% drop wipes out your equity. The lender doesn't negotiate. The margins clerk calls for cash or sell for you. Banks fed this with call loans, money due on demand, which meant rates jumped exceedingly when fear did.
Exactly. Underneath the party, the structure was glass. One crack in confidence and leverage would do the rest. That's the stage. A nation long on optimism and even longer on credit. Quick confession. What do I have in common with the 20th century? In our 20s, we both suffered a Great Depression.
It's a clever line, but it's also a map. Depression follows leverage, personal or financial. We're shown the leverage. Now watch what happens when the bill comes due.
Monday brings whispers. A big house looks light on cash, and a few banks start trimming credit. The ticker lags and phones jam. And what you don't know feels worse than bad news. By the afternoon, brokers raise margins and tell clients to post funds.
Tuesday is a rally that won't hold banks reprice risk. Some brokers' loans don't roll and the others roll at high rates. A quiet squeeze that speeds every clock for everyone on margins. Good desks tighten limits, haircuts rise, and the safe to unsafe lines move.
By Wednesday, the tape is heavy. Traders sell good names to cover bad ones, because that's how contagion really moves. Balance sheets first, headlines later. By the close, the floor is dry tinder. It only needs a spark. Think of leverage like a ladder leaning on a wall. When the wall shakes a little, the ladder doesn't slide, it slams. A price move becomes a big equity loss. When equity hits the threshold, the call hits you. If you can't post cash fast enough, the desk sells you first and asks questions later. That forced sale pushed price lower, which trips the next threshold. That's the cascade.
In booms, leverage magnifies gains and breaks. It schedules liquidation. Margin clerks don't do prep talk, they do math.
The open is heavy and the ticker falls badly behind. We're talking about Black Thursday now.
Okay.
So fear leads while information limps. Prices gap, spreads widen, and the tape turns into a rumor mill. By midday, the banker pool convenes at JP Morgan's. They buy the bluest chips, big and on purpose. to signal that confidence still had a price.
So it works for a moment. A rally forms, volumes cools, and the floor exhales, but only until the bell. The underlying problem isn't the mood, it's leverage, meaning thinner credit. A pep rally can't really refill a dry reservoir.
So, newspapers soothe with order restored and fundamentals sound. Behind the curtain, brokers borrow more to hold the line, which props up prices with fresh debt. It looks calm, but the foundation is brittle, a quiet hedge hanging over Monday.
Tiny levity, then back to work. When every editor prints, don't panic, it's already a panic. Monday wouldn't read the papers, it will read the balance sheets.
Which brings us to Black Monday. The market gaps down fast, double-digit damage by midday, and phones are jammed again. Margin clerks run the market now. They don't negotiate, they liquidate. Good stocks get sold to cover bad ones, and arithmetic does the rest. Traders who thought they were diversified learn that leverage makes everything the same color.
Credit shrieks, rates jump, and each forced small sells marks the next one necessary. This is the feedback loop of leverage. Prices fall, equity vanishes, calls go out, sells hit the tape, and the price falls again.
Volume explodes and records shatter. Prices don't glide lower, they drop through the floor as bids vanish. The obvious question is, where's the rescue?
The answer is uncomfortable. The problem isn't the price, it's collateral. You can't buy confidence with borrowed money when the collapse is melting. That isn't a slogan, that's plumbing, and the pipes just burst.
Yes, so Aftershocks, 1930 to 1932. This quake lasted years. The bank runs rolls through towns, credit freezes, and deflation bites hard. People save because they're scared, which kills demand and closes even more doors. The chart tells one story, families tell another. Owners lose businesses, workers lose paychecks, and farms fold under falling prices.
Remember our line about the 1920s and the Great Depression? Markets recover on paper faster than people do in real life. That lag is the human cost of leverage unwind, and it's never on the ticker.
It crashed in one day. Receipt? It was a sequence. Rumors, Thursday's shock, the weekend's false calm, and the Monday-Tuesday cascade. Everyone jumped from windows.
Yeah.
Tragedies happened, but the cartoon version is a later exaggeration. A banker pool saved the day? Nah, it paused the bleed. Leverage reopened it at the next bell.
Myth, the Fed saved it. Lender of the last resort. Support was late, limited, and tangled with mixed signals. In the contradiction,
Contraction.
the tight money makes fear explosive.
Winners cash rich buyers who could wait out the panic and purchase assets in 1930 to 32. Strategic acquirers who consolidated rivals, hedged or short operators who managed risk instead of paying it all away. Winners also included political actors who gained the mandate to rewrite the financial rulebook.
Losers levered retail and investors on margin, thinly capitalized banks, exporters hit by collapsing demand, and municipalities struggled by shrinking taxes. Bases, in short, this is how needed credit most right when the credit vanished.
Right. Policy mattered. The Fed tightened into fragility, and mixed signals cracked confidence at exactly the wrong time. In a panic, words and liquidity both have to arrive early and clearly. The signal is the policy. Tight money in a contraction is gasoline on a fire. It turns the market problem into a national one.
Communication mattered too. When the public can't map policy to outcomes, fear fills the gap, and the fear is expensive. In 1929, the backstops were thin, the tools were new, and the message was muddled. And the bill came due.
Out of the wreckage came new rules: Glass-Steagall, split risk and limited spillover between commercial and investment banking. The FDIC calmed depositors by guaranteeing the money most people cared about. The system gained shock absorbers and a tighter weld between government and finance.
Backstops, guarantees, coordinations can steady the ship, and they can also shift who bears the cost when things break. That's the permanent marriage our economy still lives with today.
Leverage didn't disappear, it just migrated. Margin loans then rhyme with mortgage bonds and repo later. Different pipes, same physics. Crisis change outfits, not habits. If we don't know our past, how can we predict our future?
Tell us where to deep dive next. The 1907 panic, the raw deal, the new deal, or Occupy in 2008. We'll bring the receipts.